We're joined again by former Romney chief strategist Stuart Stevens, who's not backing any candidates in this cycle. And with us now, joining him, is the raging Cajun, the guy who's squinting for Clinton. That would be James Carville down there in NOLA. Gentlemen, good to see you. James, we've just been discussing the Pact, the alliance between Cruz and Kasich on the Republican side. Just from a distance, the Democratic distance that you exist in, does that look like smart politics to you, strategically and tactically, in terms of stopping Trump?
You know, when you're behind, you do things and nothing looks very smart. When you're behind, and they're behind, and they tried to do something, and it just didn't come off very well. But you know, you just don't want to sit there and get your brains beat in. You're going to try something, and it was, you know, it was kind of 4th and 72, and they didn't want to punt, so they flung it up in the air. It didn't. You know, wasn't the most elegant pass I've ever seen, but I can't blame them for trying. They were just up against the wall. They got to try something.
Stuart, let's just assume that Donald Trump, that this pact plays out over the course of the next few weeks. We go towards June 7th at this point. What's your prediction now? Is your view that Donald Trump is more likely than not to get to 1,237 delegates by June 8th?
Well, you'd rather be Trump in this process than anybody else. It's like a recount. You'd rather be ahead going in. You know, I think probably the best bet is that Trump is going to be short after California. I think Indiana is going to be very important here. The up and downside of tonight isn't that great. Trump's going to have a good night, even in the worst case scenario. I would bet that Trump is probably going to be 100+ delegates short after California. That would be my bet.
Stuart, would you still think that if Trump won Indiana?
I think if Trump wins Indiana, it will be very psychologically problematic for those opposing Trump.
Stuart, I want to move over to the Democrats before we have you hand the baton off. So I ask you this. How would you handicap a possible Clinton-Trump general election?
Oh, Clinton will crush Trump. There's no question. Look, and just focus on one stat, white women. Romney won white women by 14. Trump is losing white women. With Hispanics, Republican Hispanics, there's not that many of them, unfortunately, and Trump has a 60% unfavorable.
Doesn't it have the prospect of campaigning and turning some of those numbers around?
I don't think it's very good because Trump is so well known. I mean, Ted Cruz is losing to Hillary, but losing by 3. Trump's losing by 10. That's a big difference. It could be the United States Senate. Plus, you know, people don't know Cruz as well as Trump. Trump's been around forever. His negatives are really high, and those who are for him are very passionate about him, but those who are against him are very passionate. There's not a lot of wishy-washy there to move around in a campaign. So I think it'll be just an absolute cakewalk for Hillary Clinton.
James, when you look at the prospect, I know you'll say that you think that Hillary Clinton is the prohibitive favorite against Donald Trump if that's her opponent, but what do you think is the main thing she has to worry about in that race? What would be the thing you'd be most concerned about facing Trump as an opponent?
I mean, you know, we're in a change environment and a change electorate, and I think that the thing that she has to do, and she will do, to say that she represents change, you know, the right kind of change. I mean, you know, I think that I agree with Stuart. I mean, Trump goes in with a lot to overcome, and I just think that she's got to execute and talk about the things that she wants to do, how she wants to make the country different, and how she can be for change also. I think that's her biggest challenge, and I think she'll be fine.
And you think there's no way in which you think Trump, given his volatility, that might be something that would be psychologically destabilizing for her? Just real quick.
Let me tell you, everybody wants to say Trump always got a chance and everything. You know, as I pointed out, this political thing started with birtherism, which is the most asinine, racist thing since George Wallace ran for president.